Welcome to another Modern Mind, Ancient Book, where we're going back to move forward. We're finding a love for the law, the prophets, and the writings. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. My name is Roger. I'll be your host. Today, we have a gentleman by the name of Landon with us, who has just recently joined Modern Mind, Ancient Book. Just graduated from high school, and you have a mind for ministry. Is that right, Landon?
I would say that.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate being a part of this mission and this ministry, and we're looking forward to younger input, I guess.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, today we're going to do the book of Philippians. It's a New Testament book. It's the first book that kind of has a heavy polemic against Judaizers. So, you know, in the past, in the last book that we examined, the book of Philemon, we noted that it was the first time that a Gentile church leader was addressed by Paul. Previous to that, it's a very Jewish movement in general.
Yeah.
And that movement, stemming from the Jewish Messiah, the King of the Jews, Jesus, had its reach originally and throughout the region into synagogues and proselytes. So Jewish or Gentile people that believed in Judaism. And now, at this point, this is early 60s. This book is from the early 60s.
80?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you know, approximately 35 years after Jesus' death.
Yeah.
We have a polemic against Judaizers, against in a bad one, right? Like, you know, calling circumcision mutilation, things like that. So, you know, the question is this against Judaism, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, a lot of people would say yes, that there should be a change because it's old wineskins, right? We can use all these Jesus sayings, but at the same time, Jesus practiced Judaism. So there's a tension there, and the thing is I really think it's based on the way that you hold reverence for who Moses is, essentially, right? So if I say, that's it, Judaism is done, we're throwing it out, it's no longer valid. Now we have to create this Gentile way, which has nothing to do, nobody has to be circumcised, nobody has to eat any sort of food, you're just free to do as you please.
Yeah.
Well, then we're offending Jewish people.
Well, last time I checked, I remember when Jesus said, I'm not here to fulfill the law, I'm actually here to destroy it, rebuild it, and
the law means nothing, don't worry about it, it's gone.
Yeah.
That's not what he said. Matthew 5 says, not the smallest stroke will pass away, but that the law remains until all is completed, meaning the new heaven and new earth.
Yeah.
So that tension isn't really there, except for the modern theologian reinterprets these passages in this to say that, you know, Judaism is no good. And then consequently, that circumcision is not necessary and it's no good. But circumcision has nothing to do with Mosaic covenant at all.
No.
It's an Abrahamic promise.
Yes.
Which Abraham is the father of faith, which we're all grafted into. And Israel is the one who struggles with God, which we're all grafted into.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
Really quickly, could you explain circumcision?
Circumcision?
Yes. Like the importance
so,
of it?
We gotta go back to Genesis for that, but I'll give you a nutshell version of it. Okay. So the male reproductive thing, right?
I know of that, yeah.
Yes. So very, very important, right? It is, in the ancient mind, a symbol of power. Okay? So God is saying, you will modify your power for me.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
You will remove your flesh from the thing I gave you to recreate and subdue the world. You're going to modify that in my name.
So would that connect? Because he says Abrahamic.
Yes.
So is that because of Hagar? Because he subdued Hagar into doing what he thought was right?
Well, I think the Egyptian thing is an echo of that.
Okay.
The Exodus,
Yes.
right? So, but okay, we got to go back to Genesis really to do it. But let me nutshell it one more time.
Okay.
So the male symbol of power, and men are stronger than women, correct?
Yes.
Men subdue the earth.
Yes.
By violence.
Yeah.
Right? So he's saying, modify your flesh.
Okay.
Modify your power. Right? And that's kind of the gist of it.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot more to it, and we could do it when we go to Genesis, but we actually have to do the kind of line by line thing for that.
Yeah.
But the phallus is a symbol of power. It was modified in God's name. Now, if you take this modify your flesh in a spiritual sense, what do you do in, say, Galatians? You practice love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And those things are contrary to the flesh.
Yes.
Because they're of the spirit.
Yes.
It's the same motif.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you talk about all of this later on in the past when we went through Genesis, correct?
Well, we will when we go through Genesis.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so Philippians. Let's get back to Philippians.
All right.
So Philippians, let me give you my nutshell on this, like, Judaizer argument here, okay? So you have, in the Babylonian captivity, a Judaism that is no longer the Judaism of Moses and of Israel.
Okay.
The people come back from Babylon with a highly nationalistic, highly rule-oriented, if you do this, if you don't do this idea. But Moses was a wisdom giver, a leader of God. He wasn't, now there are times of hardness, but he was a good man. He was a sage of old. Moses is to be respected, not quite on the same level of Jesus, but like just one notch down, right? And not to be overlooked. Like, the law is worth studying. It's worth knowing. And if God moves you, it's worth practicing. I'm doing it now, and I love it, and I'm getting blessings for it.
Yeah.
And it's changing my life because I respect Moses, because I honor Moses. So the Torah itself is good, right? But the Judaism of Jesus' day is the one that didn't recognize the Judaism of Abraham, of Moses, right? And when I say Judaism, I mean the religious expression, the way that they knew and loved God. Jesus said, I tell you the truth, Abraham rejoiced to see my day. If he was your father, you would rejoice in me too. But they had a skewed version of it. So Jesus brought a purified Judaism back, right? He was restorative.
Because there needed to be correction.
Because there needed to be correction.
Yeah.
So the Judaism that Philippians is dealing with, that Paul is railing against, is a Judaism, the same Judaism that crucified Jesus. It's the one that hates the way.
Yeah.
It's the one that's seeking to bring people back under the power and the religious authority that murdered Jesus. Yeah. And it's not Jewish people, right? It's not that Jewish people are bad. It's the same way that our religious expressions today aren't bearing truth.
Yeah.
When we leave the purified Judaism of Jesus, which is freedom, It's the same thing that Moses had. He was teaching the people not to be Egyptian anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have to be perfect. They had to be willing to change.
Yeah.
Whereas the Judaism of Jesus' day, he says you must absolutely, by the letter of the law, carry out these things. And he said, you guys bear a heavy burden on people.
Yeah.
My burden's easy. It's a purified version of that.
Yeah.
So is the Abrahamic covenant dependent upon actions? No, it was God that walked through that cut carcass. So we can't throw away everything that God has done in history because Paul made an argument that he did not make. Right? Paul knew all of the scriptures.
Yeah.
This book in Philippians, there's quotes from Job. There's quotes from all over the Old Testament, just parts and pieces, because he's a rabbi. He's a Jewish man. He's well trained.
Yeah.
His thought process was permeated by the Old Testament.
Well, we also have to stop and remember where his background is.
That's right. He didn't stop being Jewish. He went to the synagogues and preached there first.
Yeah.
That's how he ended up in prison. But he tried because they weren't ready to accept the purified Judaism of Jesus. And I keep saying that because that point is real.
Yeah.
Jesus practiced Judaism. We can't throw it away.
Yeah.
We have to honor him. So this isn't anti-Jewish. To the contrary, it's attempting to create one new man. Because the book of Philippians, like Philemon, so Philemon was written to a Gentile church leader. First Gentile church leader.
Yeah.
That you received a letter. Now the book of Philippians is written to a group of people in Philippi who are mostly Gentile. The church is changing.
Yeah.
It's changing from those who almost exclusively practice Judaism to those who now don't really know much about it. And because the Jewish people in the surrounding area in the city are coming in and saying, no, you don't understand. You have to keep exactly this. Where's your tzitzit? Where's your, right? All these rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Paul is saying, don't return to that.
Yeah.
That's what murdered Jesus. Don't return to that.
Yeah.
He's coming to set us free from this. He came to set us free from this. Meanwhile, Paul is preparing for death. Nero is going to murder him.
Yeah.
And he's in prison under Nero.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few key verses in here that say this book is a little bit morbid.
Yeah.
So, chapter 1, verse 21, for me to live as Christ and to die as gain.
He's definitely contemplating it.
He's ready. And then chapter 4, verse 4, rejoice in the Lord, always rejoice. In prison, getting ready to die.
Yeah.
Paul knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And he knew that he was called to Rome. But I don't think he thought he was going to be in prison in Rome at the outset of these missionary journeys.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to be the founder of the church in Rome, which he very well may have been. Peter never made it there,
No.
contrary to certain doctrines. Peter was murdered, too. At this point in the 60s, James is dead. Right? There's a few of the disciples have been murdered already. And so, it's just a changing ecosystem.
Yeah.
But God is still working, right? And do you remember what kind of the moniker for this time is? The time of the Gentiles? So, the first shall be last and the last shall be first.
Yes.
So the first to receive the covenant with Moses, the first to be descendants of Abraham,
Yeah.
they're the last to recognize the King, the Messiah, Jesus. But the last to be called into covenant are the first to receive and recognize King Jesus.
Which would be the Gentiles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically where we are is a time of like, God is just patient and good to us. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows or is doing what's right. Jewish people are the practitioners of rabbinic Judaism are trying to turn Gentiles who are turning to the way of the Nazarene, this Jewish sect of Judaism, into rabbinic Judaism. Yeah. And Paul's saying, no, you guys are mutilators of the flesh. Not because they circumcised, but because they serve evil. They turn against Jesus. The one who was crucified should be adored because he rose, right? Because he is the Son of God, because he is the Son of Man. Yeah. There's a whole thing written around this, and they're trying to overturn that. Yeah. So it's not about throwing out the law and throwing out Abrahamic covenant. Yeah. It's about don't be like these guys.
Well, I mean, if you read Philippians, which is a small book, you can see Paul's response. He doesn't say, you gotta keep kosher, you gotta do all of this. He starts off saying, how to live like Christ.
Yep.
And who he was.
That's right. Because God is not the mighty conqueror that was imagined was necessary in the first century. He's never been one to destroy, except for the flood. And it tells you that the reason he destroyed is that the whole earth was filled with violence. So until we're filled with violence again, the whole earth, right? As long as there's people who love him, as long as there's people who are kind and compassionate, as long as there's a goodness about this place, he has someone to bring to him. His purpose stands. He's working in this world in a way that people don't understand. Because by the power of our might, we will make it so. Which is why the phallus and the circumcision and that kind of thing has a lot of meaning. Because it's not by your power. It's not by the size of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not by how violent you can be and how many children you can have. Yeah. It's by calm, kind, compassionate service on the earth to yourself for the glory of God. Yeah. Meaning you have to eat from the earth, right? So we have to go to work to maintain our life in the service of God, serving under the hot sun and in the thorns, because that's how it works for us now.
Yeah. But not always, not forever.
No, not forever. But it's not all that bad. I mean, even God's curse for us isn't all that bad. There's a lot of really good things that happen. Yes, it's a lot of hard work. I do it every week. I don't always enjoy it.
And for those of you who don't know where we are, where we live, I live in the same town as Roger, and it's been hot.
Yeah, it's been 100 degrees every day.
It's been bad, yeah.
Yeah. So, life is bitter and sweet. So, without water in 1 day, 2 days, you will die. Yeah. But you can swim in it or it can drown you. Right? It's good and bad. God is dangerous. He gives us freedom to be and to live for him or against him. And that's the way he wants it to be.
Well, if you remember the Samaritan woman at the well, what was Jesus' response? It was, you can have all this water, but I say to you, I have
living water that you'll never thirst again.
Exactly.
Sir, if you have this water, give it to me. Okay. Right? And then she said, you are he. That's actually a really good, when we get to that, we'll talk about it, because the Samaritans, the northern 10 tribes, had their own theology.
Oh, okay.
And that theology was not shared by the Judeans. They accepted him. The Judeans murdered him.
The outcasts accepted him.
Yeah. There's a whole thing in that, and it has to do with Joseph. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put together the threads in Philippians. It's a letter written from Paul, the founder of the Philippian church, from Rome in the early 60s, to his Christian friends and family in Romanized Philippi, which was a Greek or Macedonian state, right? Paul is in Roman prison in AD 62, sometime after Nero's marriage to Poppaea and the appointment of Tigellinus, and his life is now under severe threat.
Now, do we know that from outside sources, or...?
Roman historians were very good at keeping documentation.
Okay.
He's deeply concerned about a church that he established some 11 or so years earlier. This isn't necessarily a young church, right? It's got some roots. Not wanting another Corinthian situation, so just kind of like a blow up, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff in Corinthians about the church needing to be corrected.
He had to write 2 books for it.
That's right, yeah. He writes to encourage them with the news of his impending release, likely through escape. He thought he was going to get out. He writes with a number of interconnected things in mind. First, he wants to encourage the Philippians to continue to partner with him in the gospel and in evangelism, suffering, prayer, and financial support. And particularly, he writes to thank them for their renewed financial support for him through the recent gift delivered by Epaphroditus. Second, he writes to allay or turn away any concerns they have for his situation in Rome. He might be chained and even die, but the gospel is not chained. Rather, ironically and marvelously, the gospel is spreading in the heart of the empire under the nose of Nero and among his forces and servants. While Paul is suffering and in great danger due to the malicious efforts of some Roman Christians who seek to cause him suffering, and an impending trial before Nero, Tigellinus, or Nero's magistrates, he is confident due to the Philippians' prayer and the Spirit. He writes to encourage them that their beloved minister and apostle, Epaphroditus, who last they heard had nearly died delivering their gifts to Paul, has recovered and is en route home. Because of his confidence in the Spirit and the power of their prayers and the recovery of Epaphroditus, and despite his suffering, he's in good heart, and he expects to hear of them through Timothy. He knows, too, that he will be released and return to them to strengthen them. Perhaps planning escape, this says, but I don't know if that's true. He is delighted and filled with gratitude that they have remembered him and sent gifts so that his needs in Rome have been met. He wants to assure them that despite his situation, his faith is strong and he's pressing toward the goal of eternal life. So, Job, anyone?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything was taken away. But yet he will not curse God. Right? He's ready to keep living. He's ready to keep pressing forward. He's ready to keep building. He knows that God is with him and he's with his people.
I can trust him.
And that there will be restoration.
Yeah.
He's not concerned about the body. He's not concerned about things and stuff. He's concerned about, don't turn away from this. Because it's true.
Well, if you read in verse 21 in chapter 1, he says, "For me, to live is Christ, to die is gain."
That's right. He writes to encourage them, don't despair, despite suffering and persecution and Philippian pagan opponents. He urges the Philippians to continue in their faith despite suffering. I mean, what better witness to strengthen the churches than one who is in prison under Nero, of all people?
I don't know how hard that was on them, though.
All of it's hard. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is not actually unusual either. Syrian Christians are going through this right now in the worst way. Syria was overthrown, and that nation has no real government to speak of. Israel is in there kind of making things, and they will make things better in where they control. But there's also Islamic foes there.
Yeah.
There's also Russian foes there. There's also Iranian, other Islamic foes there. There's two different versions of Islam that have power. And none of them are fair to Christians or Jews. So it's, and it's not the only place. I mean, it's all over the world. Christians are being murdered all over the place. And there's a huge amount of anti-Semitism. Like, we're in a really dangerous time right now. So, not that unusual, actually. It's the thorns and thistles idea. And the men of old, the men of renown who are violent, they're all over too. And they're in power, which is not good. So, Paul reiterates earlier warnings about the threat from Judaizing evangelists who would undercut the gospel of grace for a gospel of circumcision and law. Because Gentiles didn't circumcise, right? So, what do you do now, right? Is Abraham still their father? I mean, that these rabbinic Judaic practices, right? They're like, it doesn't work like this. You can't enter into this. But Paul's saying, you don't understand Jesus, right? Like, I don't think we're supposed to stay disobedient forever, right? But you have to be taught. You have to change. Israel had this exact same thing in their past. When they had been in Egypt for 430 years. When Moses was led to them and God called them out, had they all been circumcised? Had they all been keeping the law? Had they all been? No, it took 40 years in the desert for the new generation to even be brave enough to trust God that they could take the land. Right? It takes time. But these people had forgotten how kind God is. Right? That if I've called you, I'll make you whole. If I called you, I'll conform you. So, and that's what I'm saying about like this whole Judaizing thing. It's not that we shouldn't ever conform to the Torah. It's not that we shouldn't ever conform to the Abrahamic covenant. It's that you have to learn what it is. And then by the Spirit in you, be led to obedience.
I will say, for especially my generation, because I'm much younger, I'm in the newer generation. I started out reading the New Testament, and I was like, oh, I'm great to stop here, And once I started, going into like the law, the Ten Commandments, and stuff like that, I'm like, this is
harder.
This is harder, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, we're gonna go through it, and I'm gonna show you it's the same Jesus in all of it. There's no difference. It's not even harder. The problem is we look back at it as brutal or as difficult. We're looking back at it through the eyes of rabbinic Judaism, not through the eyes of Jesus. When we go back and we interpret the Bible in Jesus's way. So, riddle me this, okay? Should I follow the sages of old who did not see or know God fully, but only experienced through their flesh in a dim way? Or should I follow the one who was the Word at the beginning, who showed himself in the flesh and told us this is what it actually means? Right? So I'm more inclined to interpret everything through Jesus and have no qualms about it.
So you're reading the New Testament and going back.
We're going back to move forward. We're taking Jesus back and we're seeing him in everything. And it makes way more sense than it ever would without him. So, that's the whole premise of this mission, of this Bible study group of sorts. We want to be a sort of an apostolic ministry where we say none of this is outside of understanding because we have the Word who interpreted it for us. None of this is outside of the character of Jesus, who is the image of God for us to take back and understand. Right? So to the listener, when you hear this, we would have already released on YouTube all of the book of Job. And all of the book of Job is about Jesus. And he interprets it. And he does that all the way through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth. It's all Jesus. And we can interpret it through him.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. So don't hate the law, Landon. Don't turn away from it.
Yeah.
Respect Moses. Have love for the fact that God did do a work through him.
Yeah.
If God did it, if God chose him, then who are we to say it's not good? We just have to mine the goodness out of it in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
So the new covenant is different than the old covenants. But there's only one covenant that had it: if you do this, you'll be blessed. If you don't, you'll be cursed. And that's the Mosaic covenant. But it's only for a time, because Israel was not going to be ready yet. That's what Jesus said when he cursed the fig tree. Remember, like this whole scene? They weren't ready yet.
But they will be.
They will be.
Yeah.
Israel's not cut off. And we're not cut off from them. We should be one practicing faith, not two separate, distinct people.
But we're all divided now.
Because we don't love the truth.
Yeah.
If we took these books and we put them in us and we prayed and we let the Spirit lead us, we would continue to change. And we would become more like each other. Because our base would be the same base, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I see this anyway. All right. So he encourages them to find joy despite suffering. He reminds them that there is an end times hope in Christ and a heavenly inheritance because Jesus is coming.
Yeah.
He writes to urge them toward a new way of thinking, to move from self-centered thinking toward others-centered thinking.
Yes.
Lighted eyes.
Which would go back to the two commandments Jesus gave, saying,
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yep.
He said, this I give you a new commandment. This is the only new thing he gave us, that you should love one another as I have loved you. That's a hard one.
But he didn't say that back in the Old Testament.
No, that's a new commandment. Jesus hadn't come yet. When he came, he said, I leave you a new commandment, that you should be willing to die for one another.
Wow.
That is hard.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the book of Philippians. We're on to the next New Testament book. If you'd like to reach out to us, modernmindnaturebook@gmail.com. Lord bless you and keep you, and have a great day.